In today's news, INTERCARIBBEAN facing possible sanctions from Guyana for delays and cancellations. Trade mission trip to Guyana said to be a success. No ramifications for lifting visas for Guyanese, says Honorable Smith, and the media is urged to act on its role in social justice.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, you enjoy the rest of it then. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, son.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut front of people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you? You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of 284 News. It is Wednesday, August 16th, 2023. I'm Ron Grant, bringing you the very latest out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands. A happy Wednesday is wished to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining us. Beginning our newscast on the local scene, Deputy Premier and Minister for Financial Services, Labor and Trade, the Honorable Lorna Smith, OBE, has described the recent trade mission trip to Guyana as a success, stating that plans are already afoot to have a second trade mission trip to the country soon. Honorable Smith made the comment during a recent press conference on Tuesday morning as she revealed the several promising initiatives on the horizon following the trip.
Perhaps most importantly, a number of representatives of the private sector will be returning to Guyana in short order to maximize the business opportunities that have emerged during the visit. The mission was very successful, and we were delighted to receive such a warm welcome from colleagues in government and representatives from the private sector. In addition, we have identified new opportunities for BVI business. We've examined how Guyana is moving towards a low-carbon economy, which will assist us in our own journey. We've established links to benefit our own economy and especially our agricultural sector. And we've reinforced our relationship with one of the leading and largest members of CARICOM.
Honorable Smith also briefly touched on some of the initiatives, adding that they will not solely be government-oriented, but also geared towards benefiting the private sector.
We shared with the major private sector organizations how BVI financial services structures and wealth management products can assist them during this phase of the development of Guyana. In fact, it's economic transition, if you want to put it that way, especially as they pertain to facilitating inward investment. Additionally, the Central Bank has invited one of our team to register its business with the bank to help Guyana address challenges using digital solutions. A member of the BVI private sector has offered to partially fund a scholarship to the Guyana School of Agriculture to increase such expertise right here in the Virgin Islands. The BVI will consider lifting the visa requirements for Guyanese living and working in this territory. The strong cultural connection between the Virgin Islands and Guyana will be reinforced through student and cultural exchanges and working together at CARICOM and other international fora.
Deputy Premier also provided some insight into the engagements which were had during the trip, stating that each meeting was well attended.
During the visit, I met with President Honorable Dr. Irfan Ali, Vice President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, the Prime Minister, Honorable Mark Phillips, and the Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, Honorable Oneida Walrond, as well as the Central Bank Governor and his team. In addition, there was strong engagement from the Guyanese private sector, and all of our meetings with various business organizations were well attended with senior representation. We hosted a reception for between 50 and 60 senior business persons and government officials, as well as the British High Commissioner, who was very helpful to us. Indeed, the spirit of partnership between us was evident throughout, and there was mutual agreement that the mission was the starting gun on building a closer relationship with clear opportunities identified.
As it pertains to agriculture and fisheries, the minister responsible, junior minister that is, Dr. the Honorable Carl Dawson, said he observed several opportunities that will benefit the industry in the territory.
So we were able to make contact with a number of groups, very receptive in every instance. The members of the Ministry of Agriculture, we had the opportunity to meet with the minister himself, and as well as the Guyanese Livestock Development Agency and the National Agricultural Research and Extension Institute. And they were both very helpful, and we see great prospects for cooperation. There are, initiatives that they've had that we can see ourselves moving forward in. They have an extensive technical network for gathering information on farmers across the entire Guyanese and a very comprehensive interface for seeing that information, for laying out that data, and we look to see that as something that could potentially be implemented here in the BVI.
Deputy Premier, the Honorable Lorna Smith, OBE, has made it abundantly clear that lifting the visa requirement for Guyanese nationals will have zero ramifications for the territory's labor force. Smith was responding to a question posed by local media at a recent press conference on Tuesday morning. To support her point, she alluded to a recent assessment that was conducted on visa applications submitted by Guyanese nationals interested in entering the territory.
I see no ramifications, to be honest, in terms of the local local labor force. I have done my research. As we said, it's a matter that is under consideration. I have done my research in terms of the number of visas that have been refused over the last 2 years. I looked at the last 2 years. And
sorry, this is for Guyana in specific?
From Guyanese, visas from Guyanese citizens who want to come to the BVI. And it's negligible. It's really little or very little or none in terms of the refusals.
Honorable Smith, who is the Minister for Financial Services, Labor and Trade, also reminded the public that after the visa requirement has been lifted, Guyanese, like all non-BVI islanders, will still be required to have a work permit legally to enter the territory in order to work. She said the process has similar requirements to that of the visa application process, and therefore will not result in a drastic increase in Guyanese entering the territory.
You don't automatically come to the BVI, and the fact that your visa requirement has been lifted, it doesn't mean that you will automatically come to the BVI and work. You go through the process of obtaining a work permit. And in going through that process, it's a process that's very similar to the process of a visa. You have to provide all the background information on yourself. You have to provide information in terms of your criminal record or not for the last year, and so on and so forth. So, and then a determination is made, and it is made on the basis of whether it is whether a work permit is needed for that Guyanese individual or individuals or not, and it can be rejected. So lifting the visa requirement is nothing that is going to change the dynamics of the workforce in the British Virgin Islands.
Smith also highlighted the fact that Guyana's economy is growing significantly, and as a result, there are plenty of opportunities for employment across many sectors. This, she said, was raised during her recent trade mission to the country.
The Guyanese, in fact, day one, early o'clock, they said, we would love to have our people back because there is so much work in all of the fields in Guyana, construction, engineering, wherever it is in Guyana, that is needed. A brand new hospital is being constructed, state of the art. I can't remember the number of beds. Construction of something like 50,000 homes by 2025. So it's not that people are going to be flocking to the BVI. I don't expect that there is going to be any change as a result.
Viewers, up next, we have more local news. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
When you're in need of air conditioning, installation, repairs, or replacement services, Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration has the professional technicians, equipment, parts, and ACs to get the job done right. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration carries top brands like Daikin, Aircon, Mitsubishi, and more. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Located in Fish Bay. Telephone 340-4114 or 343-9511. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration, providing exceptional services to the British Virgin Islands since 2015.
Rashford made it. Manchester United have come from behind to lead.
At home or on the go, watch CCT Live. Download our app and carry your favorite TV shows, news, or live sports anywhere you go. Visit cctbvi.com/live, select your package, and tune in.
So tonight, I am an international musician and also a bandman. Let's go behind the scenes. This is how I live my life. Unlimited with CCT.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes. You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Welcome back, viewers, and thank you so much for sticking with us. Panning across the region, regional airline carrier INTERCARIBBEAN Airways has been warned by Guyana's government to get their act together or face possible sanctions. Guyana's aviation minister, the Honorable Wong Eghill, confirmed that government officials met with the airline company last week to address reoccurring concerns raised by travelers to the country relating to frequent, prolonged flight delays and cancellations. He said the meeting resulted in the airline revealing that they were tackling issues involving their crew and other internal problems, and ended with commitments made to improve the service to the country, as well as a better handling in neighboring Barbados and acquiring another aircraft to resolve the delays. In an official quote, they said if they don't fulfill these obligations, they may be made. Last Thursday, we will have to step in and take additional actions or possible sanctions, Eghill stated. He also added, and I quote, the airline cannot just make money and have people suffer. They have to be able to have the social contract with the passengers fulfilled. That was strongly communicated, and we expect the change, but if that does not happen, we have to go to the next level. The aviation minister said sanctions such as suspending INTERCARIBBEAN's Guyana routes would be the last resort, as his government wants options of having seats available to the traveling public. He said his government simply wants a better service. He said, and I quote, while we're reaching out for better service, we will not allow Guyanese to be shortchanged. Up next, viewers, we have more on the local scene. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny Boy, come, yes,
Good
son.
morning.
Good morning, Sonny Boy. Hold on there. You must have cut front of people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you? You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
So tonight, I am an international musician and also a bandman. Let's go behind the scenes. This is how I live my life. Unlimited with CCT.
When you're in need of air conditioning, installation, repairs, or replacement services, Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration has the professional technicians, equipment, parts, and ACs to get the job done right. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration carries top brands like Daikin, Aircon, Mitsubishi, and more. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Located in Fish Bay. Telephone 340-4114 or 343-9511. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration, providing exceptional services to the British Virgin Islands since 2015.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for sticking with us. Continuing on, Dr. Hugnes Jean Leon, president of the Caribbean Development Bank, took center stage at the 54th Annual General Meeting of Caribbean Broadcasting Union, held on Monday night. Leon, a respected figure in the region, discussed the pivotal role that communications play in advancing social justice and comprehensive development. Dr. Leon stated that social justice is a cornerstone of progress. emphasizing, of course, that equitable treatment, support for human rights, and fair allocation of resources are essential for a nation's development. He noted that the Caribbean Development Bank advocates two fundamental principles, sustainability and inclusivity, as the backbone of policies aimed at fostering positive behavioral changes and advancing development trajectories.
All people share a common humanity and therefore have a right to equitable treatment, support for human rights, and a fair allocation of community resources. If that's the definition we accept, wouldn't it be appropriate, therefore, to declare that there cannot be development of a nation without social justice of the people? There cannot be development of a nation without social justice of the people. And social justice promises change, increased access to rights and dignity, and maximization of the potential of a people. And that is, I think, what we want to be able to embrace, that if we genuinely want to have development, and we want to define this complete and comprehensively, we have to embrace social justice.
Highlighting the significance of media in shaping societies, Dr. Leon compared the media's role in the Caribbean to that of developed nations, where it's even important in constitutions. He acknowledged the challenges media face, but expressed gratitude that the region hasn't reached out or reached to the point of media hostility seen elsewhere.
In some countries, it is enshrined in constitution. While it is under attack in many of those same countries, and media practitioners in some places are even branded as enemies of the people, I think we can be fairly safe in saying that we are not yet at that stage in the region. At the same time, I think COVID-19 has shown us that the inequities and inequalities among our populations are driving tensions that we see across the region. So there's one element of the social psyche, but there are also economic aspects, part of which arose from COVID that we need to be concerned about.
Reflecting on the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, Dr. Leon drew attention to how inequities among populations have fueled tensions in the region. He referenced a 2021 UNDP report which placed Latin America and the Caribbean as the second most unequal region globally, stressing the importance of addressing these disparities.
A 2021 UNDP report states that regardless of decades of progress, Latin America and the Caribbean remain the second most unequal in the world, and countries in Latin America and the Caribbean exhibit high income inequality, higher than those in other regions at similar development levels. And therefore, that statement for me begs the question, so what are those inequalities and how can they be deconstructed and disseminated to a wary audience that is tired of living the reality of that statement? And of course, if you have inequities, as we've said, it has one simple result: tension. And tension means the definition of the system is at peril. And if the definition of the system is at peril, it cannot evolve.
Dr. Leon underscored the historical significance of media as advocates for rights and dignity, while also challenging media houses to redefine their role in today's complex development landscape. Transitioning to modern times, Dr. Leon recognized the evolving media landscape, which has shifted from government-owned to mostly private-owned establishments. He acknowledged the rapid changes in the global economy, social environment, and political affairs, which are impacting the Caribbean's pursuit of development goals.
In small, vulnerable states, the Caribbean media are particularly important to support relief and recovery efforts, as well as disaster mitigation. But I fear the industry is not doing enough. Not doing enough to educate and inform its audiences on the various platforms that you have access to about the multiplicity of challenges that are and will continue to impact lives and livelihoods of the region going forward. So therefore, today, I'd like to ask each of you and collectively, what is the media's moonshot project that will attract our people and to be a call of action for behavioral change? That is what is required now to change the social psyche of the region.
Now, Dr. Leon identified two critical areas warranting media's attention: crime and misinformation. He urged media to go beyond sensitization and delve into root causes for rising crime and violence.
Starting with crime, I call it the next climate change event of the region. We are sidestepping it, and if we sidestep it the same way we sidestepped climate change, we will suddenly find out, as the world has woken up to it, that climate change is alive and climate change is real. And the same will hold for crime and violence. If we allow it to fester and we allow it to take hold, and it has already different degrees in some countries, we will wake up and realize that we have another climate crisis. Although we won't be calling it a climate crisis, it will be a crime and violence crisis. And that will not be good for the development of the region, because it means there'll be a tension somewhere in the system, and anytime there is a tension, the definition of that system goes. I think by now everybody understands that. So, on any given day, I think it is the case that we would be hard-pressed not to find a chronicling of rising crime and violence. Just scour the newspapers, social media, radio. Not one day goes by without you see it. So what exactly is missing? Because clearly we are reporting it. We are reporting it. So what's missing is, in our view, greater analysis into the causes of these crimes and the ripple effects across other sectors of society.
Additionally, he called to address misinformation and disinformation as challenges that could hinder development.
Misinformation and disinformation. An area I think that is truly, it has potential to set back our development. And it's an area that the media has enormous amount of leverage. The ubiquitous smartphone, with its capacity to create and send content, has changed our lives in ways that we could not have imagined 50 years ago. We saw it during COVID, where people believed information sent to them via voice note or information that they found online. Even if it sent them down a rabbit hole of conspiracy theories, they accepted those as gospel. The Public Media Alliance in 2022 published an action plan to combat misinformation and disinformation for Caribbean media workers. That study, conducted across 8 territories, highlights that the need for more regional research and analysis to combat disinformation, media literacy, and trust in the news media. The report, in fact, emphasized the need for a systematic media and information literacy awareness program, but more importantly, the necessity of collaboration by media houses to mitigate this scourge. In order to solve a problem, I think we need to first identify the issue and commit resources to put an end to it. At the bank, we have dubbed this measure better to target better, because you can only target something if you have a good understanding of what it is.
Attention to the importance of combating misinformation, Dr. Leon emphasized the need for regional research, media literacy, and trust building in news media. He delved into the potential of artificial intelligence and its role in amplifying misinformation, calling for a balance between harnessing capabilities and human oversight. Dr. Leon called on the Caribbean media to embrace a moonshot project that could inspire behavior change and contribute significantly to social justice and development. Viewers, that is it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for your daily news updates at 284media.com, and of course like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Ron Grant. I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a safe and enjoyable evening. Happy Wednesday. Goodbye.